Hello and welcome back to Find Yourself in a Character, my weekly video series that takes us on an exploration of some of my favorite characters and their journeys. I'm Jenny D, author, consultant, and international promoter of Love and Triumph. In this week's episode, we'll be talking about The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck by Mark Manson. Now, I will admit, when I first started reading this, I was a little off. I didn't buy into a lot of it because I'm very spiritual and believe in manifestation and putting your energy into the universe and all that kind of stuff. And it seemed at first to contradict that by saying things like we're not special and kind of all this positivity isn't the way to go. And I didn't take offense at all because it was just a perspective. But I didn't feel aligned with it. But I stuck it out, and then I got to see the concepts behind what not giving a fuck really is about. And it's not that we don't care, it's just that we choose what we care about. And there's ways of getting to that point. And as he went through those, I was like, oh, I see what you did there, kind of thing. And it was things like accept responsibility. Now, I get that. I've learned that. I've practiced that. Like, I'm responsible for my own actions. Even if somebody does something or says something to me that's hurtful, I'm not responsible for what they did, but I'm responsible for how I receive it, how I respond, how I carry on, how I let it impact me. And that was kind of the gist of that part of the book. And I'm like, okay, I got through the first one, done. The next one was about uncertainty and kind of managing our expectations that not everything is going to go according to plan, and it's not this routine, and not everything's perfect. So I was like, okay, I jive with that as well. Like, life is uncertain. We cannot predict anything. And you kind of just got to learn to go with the flow. All right, totally aligned. Then his third point out of 4 was about pretty much accepting failures, accept that you're going to keep failing and that we're even afraid of success. So it's all these layers of learning from our mistakes and not letting them get to us and basically not giving a fuck about that and just like keep on going. So totally got that. And then I got to the 4th point where we basically should accept our immortality. And wow, it really hit home for me because that's something I am afraid of. I'm happy to admit it, that's one of the things that petrifies me, the concept of death. And, I know none of us are getting off this planet alive. I get that. And, anything can happen at any time. But the way he presented it was a lot more digestible in that, there's in our physical life, which is what eventually is going to go. We all go. Our bodies die, and that's the end of it. And then what we're really striving for is the survival of our conceptual life. And that's more like our legacy, what we leave behind. Like, did we make enough impact on our family? Did we write a book? Did we, become a doctor? Like, what we did to make a name for ourselves that outlives our physical body. And that's where I got like the goosebumps. I'm like, oh, that's good stuff. And it's like, that's what you come to care about, not obsess about, not put expectations on, but like, that's the life that you want to preserve and not necessarily this whole physical experience. So that was a fascinating subject to me, and it helped me digest a little bit more that, I'm going to die. I have to get there. I still have work to do on like doing that, but it's amazing. And he describes his experience as he's standing on the very edge of a cliff. Like, literally the wind can push him over and he can die in that instant. And it was him just accepting that that was fact. And it was powerful. And I don't know if I'm ready to go stand on the edge of a cliff, but I would love to be able to feel that inhibition of just knowing. And I can relate, well, not relate, but I can understand how freeing that must have been for him. And to just look death in the face and be like, take me or don't take me. It is what it is. So once I got through all those concepts and tied it back to the beginning, I realized he wasn't really putting down anything that I personally believe, but it tied all together and it gave some logic and some really thoughtful ideas on how to not give a fuck about everything in your life. So it was insightful. I walked away with some new ideas, new thoughts, and I thought it was great. So check it out if you want to change some of your life and some of your perspectives. And I'm Jenny D. If you want to follow me, you can find me at www.jennydauthor.com. And I will see you next week for another episode of Find Yourself in a Character.